out opposite the 10 from Det as Mike puts up a 9.
Wants that 7-pin to go. Doesn't happen. Right through the middle in lane 35. Almost the same thing in 36. Got to change his angle, change the speed of the ball, something, because the ball is breaking sharply from right to left, but breaking flush on the head pin.
Needs these two, or at least one of them, to stay even in his deficit. Instead, he gains one. Back to a 5-point lead for Det, 62-57. 4 boxes remaining. That's the 1-2-4 left for Det. Det averages 125, so under that pace, both bowlers under their averages. (71-7) for Det.
It's time for one of these bowlers to break out. They're too good not to.
Every pin looking like it'll be important now in a game with so few marks. And that is a 10 for Det. 81 the score through 8. Mike down 24 with 2 boxes in hand.
See if he can make that adjustment. Still right through the middle. Same lead he had last time on 35, I believe.
He is opposite a 9 here in the 7th. And he'll match it. Staying 5 off the pace of Det.
Game of inches sometimes. Hit that head pin flush, 1/4 of an inch either way. Could be 9-pin drop, strike, who knows. And it's hard to make that adjustment in one game. What you don't want to do is make the adjustment and start missing the head pin. It's a little better there. 8-pin drop, 2 of the 5 left.
This would be a big mark.
Yeah, it would be. Right, John. But, oh, boy. Wood couldn't be any worse. Although, if he misses that 2-pin, he might have the wood. Well, he didn't catch the wood. I thought maybe the wood would kick from behind. Of course, he's going to hit this wood right on the cap this time and make it. No? All right. That makes him feel any better. Back to a 6-pin advantage for Det Klein. Final 2 frames. Scores aren't huge, but the match is very much in doubt.
You can see Mike in the corner shaking his head. It's been a frustrating game. Oh, that's going to hurt his chances too as Det comes up big with the strike.
There you see the strike tripping that 6-pin. 6-10, last 2 to go. He wants to push the lead into double digits, force Mike to make 2 marks. Oh, wow. Ouch. The 5-7-10, you can see the reaction there. I thought that was a pretty good ball, Det says. And I have to agree with him. He's hoping for 8. Bonus would be 9.
Instead, it's 7 in the fill. 98.
These are big pins.
Just 1. 106. So Mike Kustak got a little fortunate with what Det followed the strike up with.
He needs 2 marks. 31 pins to tie, 32 to win. Same 2 pins he just shot at the last box, but without the difficult wood out in front. The 2 and the 5.
Got
There's
it.
one of them.
It'll be interesting here in this final box.
Of course, this is a crucial ball. Can't make a mistake. But he still needs another mark.
How about that?
Will it go? He needs this and 3 pins. Is that wood frozen against that 5? Gotta hurry. Oh,
That close.
he thought it was frozen, and it wasn't. He had to have the 5-pin clean. So Det Klein, by the slimmest of margins, will move on to face our champ, Steve Vadnais.
What a contrast in emotions we saw right there between Mike and Det Klein, who was a little shocked. 106-103, Det wins. He's on to take on Steve Vadnais next.
Tonight, NCAA men's basketball playoffs return to the Comcast Network with Game 3 of the CAA quarterfinals. See the teams of the Colonial Athletic Association compete for the conference championship. The men's CAA quarterfinals, Game 3, tonight at 6 on the Comcast Network.
Honey, it's the money we could be saving with Geico.
Tell me who's watching.
I'm on it.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's the money you could be saving with Geico. He's not much for conversation, but if he was, it would be a conversation about saving you money.
Tell me who's watching.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I had a pretty good job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I thought, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I probably don't want to do it tomorrow. And I told my dad, I want to start a brewery.
I told him, I think you're crazy.
I started Sam Adams with Boston Lager to make rich, flavorful beer.
And he went and sold it 1 bottle at a time.
No one had tried an American beer that had that kind of flavor. Boston Lager really was a groundswell.
There's that saying, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't feel like I've worked for 24 years.
Tonight, NCAA men's basketball playoffs return to the Comcast Network with Game 4 of the CAA quarterfinals. See the teams of the Colonial Athletic Association compete for the conference championship. The men's CAA quarterfinals, Game 4, tonight at 8:30 on the Comcast Network.
By just 3 pins, Det Klein is advanced to take on Steve Vadnais, and a frustrating finish to that for Mike Kustak. Just that single pin preventing him from having a chance to mark and have 3 more to win.
I question whether or not that wood was frozen against that 5-pin. He might have thought it was. Unfortunately, again, a game of inches sometimes.
The current champ going first here, first of 2 games. Steve from Claremont, New Hampshire, and he brings a rather boisterous group of buddies with him to support him. You'll hear them whenever he marks with their chant in the crowd.
Yeah, wants a 7-pin to go as well.
That's the 6-7.
I would play this on the right-hand tip of that front piece of wood. It could snap toward that 6-pin. Oh, it did. Left a 7.
Dead on the head pin to get all 10. Started with a spare in the challengers match. Begins here on lane 35 with a strike.
I'm sure he doesn't want that drought to last as long as it did in that challengers match, though. He was open the next 7 boxes. He's going to make sure, leaves everything or knocks everything down but the 10 pin, leaves just that 10, and the wood might be a little too deep. He's going to have the 10 pin clean. He does. 2 in a row. Immediately sets himself up for some bonus money.
Steve, after a pair of 10 boxes, in for his 3rd frame.
Looks worse than it is. 3, 6, 10 on the right with the 7 pin, but the wood behind the 3 pin has the good angle toward that 7. Well, he didn't catch enough of the 3.
Three 10s in a row for 30 for Steve. Leaves the 1, 7, 10.
All of a sudden, our champ's not carrying that extra pin. There's 2 or 3 marks there he could have had, but left the 1 pin standing after that 2nd ball. Another 10 box.
Det on a little run of marks right now, 2 in a row, hoping to make it 3. It would get him $50 in bonus money. That leaves the 2 and the 10.
He wants that wood to stay right there. That wood, if he catches the 2 pin, could slide across and clear out the 10 for a $50 shot.
His lead's at 18 through 3 complete, so early advantage for Det. Left with the 3, the 6, and the 7.
Wood is not going to be helpful. He's going to try to split the 3, 6. Chance to have a pin left standing. First 4 boxes or 7 boxes that both bowlers have knocked down everything. There's an 8.
The lead 16, 56 to 40. Steve has not left a pin up, but he is not marked either through the first 4. Left with the left side.
Yeah, cluster of 5, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8.
Finally a pin left up. It's the 7 pin as he puts up a 9 in box 5.
And our champ will be open the first 6 frames.
Five tens, 1-9. That totals 59.
He likes coming from behind once in a while.
Det, an opportunity for another spare. 3-6 left. Of course, as you know, Det held the record for a long time for consecutive wins at 8. Converts that for his 3rd mark of the first 5 boxes. 2 spares and a strike. Chance to increase his lead.
Fill of 7.
And he's got a clear shot at the 2, 5, and 8.
Well done. His 4th mark. 3 spares and a strike. He is at 83 and in great shape, up 24 plus his next ball. Back with more after this on the Candlepin Challenge.
If you plan on building, furnishing, or remodeling your home, or you're just tired of paying retail, don't spend another dollar. Now, you can enjoy an incredible selection of top quality name brand products priced up to 50% less than retail. Take the first step towards saving hundreds or even thousands of dollars on nearly anything for your home. Call for your free Direct Buy Insider's Guide to Buying Direct and learn what retailers don't want you to know. Each full color page of the Insider's Guide is packed with powerful information. Discover some of the hundreds of thousands of products available from over 700 name brand manufacturers. Everything, including furniture, cabinets, appliances, flooring, lighting fixtures, and so much more, all without retail markups. At Direct Buy, you can't afford to miss this valuable opportunity. Call the number on your screen now to get your own Direct Buy Insider's Guide. You'll also receive a visitor's pass and map to the Direct Buy showroom nearest you. The sooner you call, the sooner you'll be buying direct. So call now.
It's been a good one so far for Det Klein. Opposite Steve Vadnais here, game 1 of 2 in our championship round. Steve needing to play some catch-up without a mark to this point through 6 boxes.
Yeah, people don't understand how difficult that last spare of Det's was. But you have the 2-5, but you have the sleeper in the back, the 8. So you got to be just barely touch the 2-pin to carry the 8, or be heavy, extremely heavy on the 2-pin. But then sometimes you leave the 5. But anyways, he's got 2 in a row, and he's taking control so far of this match. Our champ is yet to mark. Almost like the sophomore jinx here. We can't get somebody to win 2 matches in a row. Halfway through this one. Almost halfway through.
Just a single pin has eluded Steve through 7 boxes, all 10s and 1-9 at 69.
He's got a good chance here on the 6-9.
First mark comes in the 8th for Steve. We finally hear the chant. You can put it on the board, yes, from his cheering section. Guys making the trip down from him from the Claremont, New Hampshire area. A lot of them bowl together in Newport.
Disappointing 2 on the spare.
Same spot. A 2-8 alley.
I heard uh-oh a couple times. The first one was by Det Klein. He knew as soon as he let that ball go, that's not where he wanted it. So disappointing 5, spare 2-5. And with Steve Vadnais posting a mark in the 8th, a little momentum swing.
Just the 7 up for the 3rd ball. Det gets it, moves to 100 through 8 boxes.
It's a 21 pin advantage for our challenger, Det Klein. But Steve Vadnais will cut into that lead with his first ball.
On the head pin, but he gets just 6.
Just miscutting the 3 over, and then some backdoor action almost converted it anyways. Ho-hum, another 10.
95 through 9. Steve would love a mark, of course, in the 10th. Tighten things up, heading to that 2nd and final game. Triangle leaves 6, 9, 10. It's the 9 that doesn't go.
I'll tell you, that was a tough 105. With 1 mark, left 1 pin standing. All 10 boxes, 9 and a spare 6.
Off his average of 122, so. Det now. Box 9, 7 pin drop.
Wanted that 6 pin to clear out of there. 2-4 on the left with a 6. Like that 4 pin moved off the spot a little also.
Loses 1 and count on that exchange, and 9 up is at a 10 in the 9th. Coming up after the break, Chris Long from Bridgewater, Massachusetts will step in as our strike challenger. Looking to win the 525 if he can bowl a strike. Had a $50 winner a week ago for a spare. Needs both of these to match the 10 from Steve and maintain his advantage of 14. Gets it. It's game 1 in the books. Det Klein ahead by 14 pins, 119 to 105 over Steve Vadnais. It's anybody's match in game 2. Back with the strike challenge after this.
Here's good news from Proactive. Enjoy free shipping on us as we introduce a faster way to fight acne and soothe dry skin. Order now and get the remarkably hydrating green tea moisturizer as a special gift with your 3-piece kit. It's lightweight, oil-free, and hydrates without clogging pores. Green tea is a powerful antioxidant that calms irritation and soothes your skin. It's your perfect moisturizer.
I've noticed that a lot of other moisturizers make my skin oily, or they don't moisturize it enough. but the green tea moisturizer really gives you the perfect balance.
I love the green tea moisturizer. It's so light. My skin just feels nice and healthy.
Call now and get the amazing Proactive. And for the first time ever, get free shipping too. Proactive heals your acne and helps prevent future breakouts and is called Best Acne Treatment by Allure magazine.
I have not had one of those bumps on my face since I started using Proactive.
This new offer has a $57 value, and when you order in the next 4 minutes, it's only $19.95. And get free shipping through this exclusive limited-time TV offer. The Green Tea Moisturizer is hydrating and anti-inflammatory. No more dryness.
It just feels really fresh and very clean.
It's an exclusive Proactive Extra, and it's your special gift when you order Proactive for only $19.95. With free shipping and a money-back guarantee, there's no downside to trying Proactive right now.
I really like the green tea moisturizer. It doesn't clog my pores, yet it gives me that right amount of moisture.
The Green Tea Moisturizer is smart skincare and part of the new Proactive system. Say goodbye to blemishes and dry skin. Call 1-800-322-4122. We'll pay the shipping and handling, and you'll have our 60-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-800-322-4122.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's time for the Strike Challenge, and today we have Chris Long. Chris, where are you from?
I'm from Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
And you said you wanted to give a little shout out.
Yes, I wanted to say hi to my wife Nancy and my kids Angela and Jason.
Well, hello, Nancy, Angela, and Jason. $525 on the line. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Let's see if Chris can do it. With $525 up for grabs. Here goes. Now he's looking at $50 if he can convert the spare. Same spot, so we're counting $1 a pin.
Don't worry, I know how you.
Right now it's at $3.
That's the one he wanted.
9 for Chris Long from Bridgewater, Mass. That jackpot will grow once again next week up to $550. We resume our championship match, game 2. And the challenger, Det Klein, with the lead, up 14 pins. He will go first. Steve Vadnais to go second.
That's something I'd say.
Still looking at 6 pins.
He finished with 4 open frames. The turning point right now is that spare 2 and then a 5 box, and then he finished with a 2 10s and a 9. So he hasn't had a mark now in half a game, 5 boxes. Luckily for him, our champ Steve Vadnais only could accomplish that feat once, and that's in the 8th with a spare.
Seven fall.
It's got the 4, 7 in the left with a 6 pin and a couple pieces of wood in front of that 6, which he's going to have to use. Left the 4, so he'll be open again. Chance for our champ to make up some ground.
Two 10s. Start game 2 for Det Klein. Can Steve Vadnais take advantage of the open frames? I'd like, of course, to hear a little more from his cheering section if he can get it going with some marks.
Well, off the head pin, that was the bad news. The good news, he just leaves himself the 1 and the 2. Can he cash in on the break?
Yes. They're entertaining. I like their energy.
heard one of them say, we've only said this twice. It's true. He's only had 2 marks so far. He's hoping he'll hear him a lot more going down the stretch here in the second game. Ooh, he wants that wood to stay on. That's his only shot, is having that wood stay on. Could come off the wall. I would like it a little farther out, but yes. And quickly, he gets 8 of those pins back. Now let's see if Det Klein can respond.
Left with the 4 horsemen to the right. Can he punch out the 1, 3, 6, 10 for a mark of his own?
Boy, now he's leaving that extra pin, much like Steve did the first game.
Three 10s for Det.
Needs that 1 mark to try to loosen himself back up again. That'll help. Break there. Looked like he was going to be left with the 3, 6, 4, 7. 6 came back, and eventually the 3 leaves himself just a 4, 7. Got to be concentrated and grab the 4 pin. That happens so many times. You should treat them all like a single pin. If you miss the 4 pin, chances of making that spare are diminished considerably. So you got to catch the object pin. In that case, it was a 4. Gets the 10 box. But our champ has a chance to take the lead.
Here, I got a quarter.
Bonus money too if he has a 3rd straight mark. Be $50. He's got the 1, 2, 4, 7, and that tricky 9 pin back row.
That wasn't enough to take the lead. He'll still be 1 pin short. That will do it though. That was a $50 shot in anyone's book. 3 consecutive spares for our champ. Off the wall for the 9 pin.
2 pieces of wood colliding to take care of that 9. Will the 7 go? No.
It gives him the lead by 5 through the 4th frame of the second game. He's going to need a 10 box to keep it at that. Whoa. 2 pins. That's what our champ's lead is now.
6 frames remaining.
Just want to carry that extra pin. This case would be the 6 pin, but I just got a feeling he's going to cut the 2 into the 6. Split the 2 and the 4. Nope.
It'd be a good shot to get him another 10 box. Instead, it's an 8.
So ironically, the two games going through 4 boxes. The first game, Det had 56. 4 boxes this game, Steve had 56. After 4 boxes, they both had 40 in the first game. And I threw it off a little bit there. 48, 49 for Steve Vadnais in the first game. Now we got another shot of the 4 horsemen, this time on the left. 1, 2, 4, 7. But this has been 9 boxes in a row. This will be 10 if you can't convert this for a spare. He does it in the 6th.
Big shot. Gets him to 58 and counting.
Huge shot. How many times do you see this 4 horseman? You play it right in the 1-2 pocket, you get the 1-2-4 and leave the 7 pin. At least it gives that champ something to think about. There's a mark already posted up in front of him. Look at the 4 horsemen plus the 9 pin on the right.
Oh.
He answers the call. Spare in the 5th.
Fourth one for him over 5 boxes. 4 spares for Steve.
Didn't think he was going to carry the 10 pin at first, but oh boy. Mistake there.
Just 2 on the fill. Salvages a 7 out of it. It's a 3-pin advantage for Steve with 4 boxes to go, but Dett's got a huge fill, and we come back. You're watching the Candlepin Challenge.
Sunday, get your March Madness going with the Comcast Network. Don't miss Game 1 of the CAA Men's Semifinals. See the teams of the Colonial Athletic Association compete for the Conference Championship. The Men's CAA Semifinals, Game 1, Sunday at 3, right here on the Comcast Network.
So how'd it go today?
It was awesome. I scored 3 goals.
Great.
We all want our kids to be the healthiest they can be. With the help of 5-2-1 Almost None, it's never been easier to get your kids to eat healthy and stay physically active.
Nice job. Dinner.
So join the mighty Timoneers as they take your kids on the healthy adventure of a lifetime. Learn more about 5-2-1 Almost None at makingkidshealthy.org.
Sunday night, get your March Madness going with the Comcast Network. Don't miss Game 2 of the CAA Men's Semifinals. See the teams of the Colonial Athletic Association compete for the Conference Championship. The Men's CAA Semifinals, Game 2, Sunday night at 5:30 on the Comcast Network.
Good competitive championship match this week on the Candlepin Challenge. Right now, the reigning champ, Steve Vadnais, seated ahead by 3, but his lead likely to evaporate on this ball as Det Klein fills a spare in the 7th box.
This is where he made the mistake the first game and only got the half Worcester on a spare. He wants to avoid that. Needs a decent fill.
That'll put him ahead by 3 through 16 boxes complete.
Well, he's got the 4 horsemen. We've seen this so many times in this match. This time on the right, 1, 3, 6, and 10, trying to make it 2 spares in a row. Oh, leaves the 6.
Gets his 5th 10 box in this game.
It's a nail biter. Not very many pins are going to separate the 2 bowls going into the final 2. Det would love to put one up here in the 8th. Did he get the strike? Everything but the 5, the kingpin.
Does not have a direct shot, but he can target that wood in front.
Yeah, the wood should be no problem.
Yes.
Spare in the 8th.
That was a biggie.
Pressure back on our champ now.
Opposite of 10 here. Steve in the 7th. Takes that 9. He's looking at the kingpin.
Very similar shot, as long as the ball is kept to the right of the red line. If he goes too far left, could spin the wood around that 5 and leave it. Whoa.
It looked like it was headed in that direction.
It did. Big mark by Steve. Now the all-important Phil can't afford to make a mistake.
Had a 2 last time. Doesn't want a repeat of that. That was filling the spare in the 5th. Much better. 9.
Another, Steve.
Ooh. Golden opportunity missed.
Hold on to your seats, boys and girls. This is going down to the final box.
He's disappointed with that. Hold it.
Needs at least 5 to regain the lead.
Hey, way to go. Joe look-alike winner.
Gets 7.
That looked good. He can try to snap the wood. I think I'd try to go to the 5-pin, a little bit to the right of the 5-pin, have it topple into the 9 and hopefully the 7. I mean the 8 and then into the 7. That's what he's trying. Oh, what a try! He's gonna get it! Wow!
He turned his back on it and didn't realize what happened until the crowd reacted.
He thought he would get it clean, but he needed the wood to finally roll against that 7. Just like I said, it danced across and it just had enough momentum to kick that wood back into the 7. Great shot.
3 marks over the last 4. Chance to make it 3 in a row to finish. Bonus money and turn the heat up on Steve.
Yeah, now he's got to concentrate on the fills. Oh, my. Oh, my. The momentum back and forth.
Stoic Steve Vadnais.
Yeah, he's going to need at least 1 mark unless...
These 3 could be real important. Gets 2 of them. 111 in this game, 230 total for Det.
So it forces Steve to get at least 1 mark. He's on the pace of 124, which would, with a 105 would give him 229. So he needs some kind of a mark.
Needs 21 to tie.
Boy, back and forth this match is gone. Each bowler making a crucial mistake. Steve Vadnais missing a single in the 8th. And of course, Det just getting that 1 on the spare. Wow.
7 go.
A shot similar to Det's. But instead of the 8-pin, he's got the 4. Well, it's going to come down to the last box. Going to need some kind of a mark. Det just snuck by in the Challengers match. Will he sneak by in the championship match?
The lead is 11 for Det, so a mark and at least another pin to tie it up is what Steve needs to do.
Steve just threw a pretty good ball on 935 and just did not get a legitimate spare leave. Oh boy, he's going to have to convert this.
Det Klein.
Det Klein will move on. Wow. Boy, there was so many momentum swings there in that match. 1 pin.
That close. 230 to 229. Total numbers. Det, our champ, back for the wrap-up after this.
Want the lowest price guaranteed on quality carpet?
Empire exceeded my expectations, especially when we got our quote. The 2 major retailers we originally approached were much more expensive.
Empire offers the lowest price guaranteed, plus shop-at-home convenience. We install next day with no payments till 2010.
The quality of our installation was top-notch. We'll recommend Empire to anybody.
Call today.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
I faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim, but I can still hear my drill instructor today. Don't quit. So I jumped in, apprehensive and scared out of my mind, but I came up a Marine.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
I've gone through life being a guarded person. I've tried to be as strong as I could be and not show a weak side. But with Karen, she breaks down my defenses. She knows my, my weak side, my stick side. We're walking down the beach and Karen reaches out and grabs my hand. Just my heart just melts.
To see who you're matched with, log on now and review all your matches for free. eHarmony.com.
Welcome back for the wrap-up. Det Klein, our champ this week by the slimmest of margins, just one pin.
I guess it was. Steve and I have a history now, so it's always the last box. So we'll find out the next time we meet. It'd probably be his turn.
Well, it was good, entertaining television.
Well, I got lucky with the spare. It was a great shot, but I got lucky with the spare, and then Steve made an effort, and just couldn't get anything to shoot at. And it's unfortunate when you run down to the last couple of boxes. We each missed the mark in that string, so we kind of paid each other back. It was just, pinning is what the game was about. And sometimes when they go tough, you have to pin well.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you back next week.
Thanks very much.
That'll do it for the Candlepin Challenge. To you too next week, right here for more Candlepin Bowling.